walk into the gym with confidence. You've got your routine down. You load the bar, you descend, you stand back up. You think you're building legs. You think you're getting stronger. But your knees are tracking inward, your heels are lifting, and your lower back is rounding like a frightened cat. I'm gonna fix that today. Most guys think the squat is simple. Bend your knees, go down, come back up. That's what they've been doing since high school gym class. And that's exactly why their knees sound like popcorn and their hips feel like rusted door hinges by the time they're 35. You're not squatting. You're collapsing under load and calling it training. This movement separates the guys who look athletic from the guys who are athletic. It builds the quads that fill out jeans. It develops the glutes that make you look powerful from behind. It creates the structural strength that lets you sprint, jump, and dominate in any physical situation, but only if you're doing it right. And most of you aren't. Here's what nobody wants to hear. Your hip structure is genetic. Some men can sit deep into a squat with their torso upright like they're sitting in a chair. Others will always lean forward more because their femurs are longer relative to their torso. You can't change your bone lengths. You can't alter your hip socket angle. Stop trying to copy someone else's squat and start learning yours. But here's the good news. Your mobility, your motor patterns, your muscle activation, all of that is trainable. And that's where most of your problems live. You don't have bad genetics, you have bad movement quality, and nobody's ever shown you the difference. Let's talk about what actually happens when you squat incorrectly. Your knees cave inward because your glutes aren't firing and your adductors are overcompensating. Your heels come off the ground because your ankles are tighter than a bank vault and you've never spent 10 seconds stretching your calves. Your lower back rounds because your core isn't braced and your hamstrings are pulling your pelvis under. These aren't minor form issues. This is structural damage waiting to happen. Every influencer wants to sell you knee sleeves, lifting shoes, or some magic mobility program. And sure, sleeves provide compression. Shoes give you a heel lift if your ankles are immobile. But they're tools, not solutions. Best case, they help you squat slightly better while you fix the real problem. Worst case, they become a crutch that lets you keep squatting like garbage while your knees deteriorate. The real risk isn't injury from one bad rep. It's the slow accumulation of 10,000 reps done wrong. Cartilage doesn't grow back. Tendons don't heal like muscle. You get one set of knees. Treat them accordingly. Here's your first rule. If your knees hurt during the squat, you stop. Not next set, not next week, immediately. Pain is not weakness leaving the body. Pain is your body screaming that something structurally is wrong. Fix the movement or change the exercise. Your ego is not worth a knee replacement at 40. Second rule, depth is earned, not forced. You descend as far as you can while keeping your spine neutral and your heels down. For some of you, that's parallel. For others, it's below parallel. The guy next to you doing ass-to-grass squats with a rounded back isn't more advanced than you. He's just more injured. Now let's talk about what's actually killing your progress outside the gym. You sit for 10 hours a day. Your hip flexors are shortened. Your glutes have forgotten how to activate. Your thoracic spine is rounded forward like you're perpetually apologizing for existing. Then you walk into the gym and expect your body to suddenly move like an athlete. It won't. You want an instant improvement? Stand up right now. Push your hips back like you're trying to close a car door with your ass. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings? That's the hip hinge. That's the pattern you've forgotten. Most guys squat by bending their knees first. That's wrong. You break at the hips and knees simultaneously. The hips move back, the knees track forward over the toes, and the torso stays as upright as your proportions allow. Let me make this simple. Imagine a glass of water balanced on your lower back. If that glass tips, you're rounding. If it stays level, your spine is neutral. That's the feeling you're chasing, not some philosophical connection with the weight, just basic structural integrity. Your knees should track in the same direction as your toes, not inside them, not way outside them, the same direction. If you're standing with your feet shoulder-width apart and your toes pointed slightly out, your knees follow that exact path. This isn't complicated. You're just doing it wrong because nobody's ever told you to pay attention. Here's what most guys miss. Your squat is only as strong as your core. And I don't mean your abs. I mean the entire cylinder of muscles that stabilizes your spine under load. Your abs, your obliques, your lower back, your pelvic floor. Before you descend, you take a deep breath into your belly, you brace like someone's about to punch you in the stomach, and you hold that tension for the entire rep. No brace, no stability. No stability, no strength. No strength, no progress. The missing link in your squat isn't your quads, it's your glutes. Most of you have weak, underactive glutes because you sit all day and you've never trained them to fire properly. Your body compensates by overusing your quads and your lower back. That's why your knees hurt and your back feels stiff. Fix your glutes and everything else starts to fall into place. And no, Instagram glute bridges won't save you. You need to actively squeeze your glutes at the top of every squat. You need to think about spreading the floor apart with your feet as you drive up. That external rotation cue activates the glutes and keeps your knees tracking properly. Your body adapts fast when you give it the right stimulus. Fix your bracing and you'll feel stronger within one session. Fix your knee tracking and the nagging pain starts to fade within a week. Improve your ankle mobility and your depth increases within 2 weeks. This isn't a 6-month project. This is immediate correction followed by consistent reinforcement. But here's the hard truth. Most of you won't fix this because you don't want to lower the weight. You'd rather squat 3 plates with terrible form than 2 plates with perfect form. You'd rather impress strangers than build actual strength. And that's fine. Just don't complain when your knees are shot and you can't play with your kids without limping. The squat is not a test of how much weight you can survive. It's a fundamental human movement pattern that builds your foundation for every other athletic quality you want. Speed, power, explosiveness, resilience. They all start here, but only if you're doing it right. Stop chasing depth you haven't earned. Stop copying someone else's leverages. Stop using equipment to hide mobility problems. Learn your body. Respect the movement. Build the strength properly. You don't need a complicated program. You need to squat with intention 3 times a week, progressively add load as your technique stays clean, and stop making excuses for lazy movement. That's it. That's the entire formula. Your knees will thank you. Your performance will explode, and you'll finally look like someone who actually knows what they're doing in the gym. Now get under the bar and do it right.